So this friend of mine lives in an apartment building, and when you're in apartment buildings, you know, your relationship with your neighbors is a little different. The people underneath you, if they're loud, like, it's hard to sleep. You know, the people above you stomp around like wildebeest. It's hard to sleep, you know. You kind of have to get along with your neighbors a little bit better if you're in an apartment than you do in a house. So this guy, you know, the neighbors above them, for whatever reason, kind of behave like nocturnal wildebeest. They're just like clomping on the floor as loud as possible, constantly slamming doors, constantly having people coming and going in the stairs right outside some people's bedrooms. Like, these people basically have, you know, just in a constant stream of traffic. You would think the subway was leaving from the third floor of this apartment building if you didn't know any better, man. So, whatever. Obviously, it's pretty annoying, and, you know, they don't really get along with the neighbors on the noise frontier. But this friend of mine isn't gonna be mean. Like, he doesn't want beef, so he doesn't report them for being loud, you know. He doesn't report them for anything, because as annoying as it is for them to be loud above them, it's not like ruining their entire life. They're still sleeping okay. And then there's a turning point. You know, they already weren't big fans of the neighbors, and one of them had left, you know, their bike outside on like the front of their apartment. And obviously, because there's a constant stream of people who tend to be buying some things that the government doesn't want you to be buying, coming and leaving the apartment, you know, the bike goes missing. So obviously they're annoyed, and they go up to their upstairs neighbors. They say, hey, we think somebody that was coming and going took our bike. Can you ask whoever is coming and going to give it back, you know, because it was an expensive bike. And they weren't going to call the cops. That wasn't the threat. Basically the thing they were saying is, look, we know what you're doing. We're not going to snitch. We're not going to be those people. But in return, you got to fix the bike situation, okay? I know that the people that are coming and going probably have a good reason to listen to you. So you're just going to make them give us the bike back. However, you know, the dude wasn't very receptive to this and started screaming at them, basically saying that, like, what, were you cops, you know? And, like, how dare you have the nerve to, you know, come on, knock on my door? Do you have any idea who I am? How many dangerous people I know? The exact opposite of what you should do. You know, if you want to do things that are sometimes contrary to the law, okay? Sometimes maybe go against the code. Like, if you're gonna break the law, which I don't suggest you do, you want to lay low. You don't want to threaten the people that are just coming up to you and saying, look, man, we know somebody that's coming to this apartment for a nefarious reason took our bike. Just get it back. It's not that difficult, you know? We've been chill. We haven't complained. You guys are a little loud. We haven't mentioned any of it. So, like, just get us our bike back. But the guy who opens the door of the apartment is like, nah, basically, screw yourself. You know, we're not going to help you. But he doesn't say screw. He says a very naughty word that I don't want to say so I can keep this video monetized. So everybody that lives in the apartment is basically like, look, we're not going to get the bike back. So they eat it, and they're like, well, in that case, we're not going to be, you know, helpful to them anymore. You know, like they would, you know, if they saw somebody watching the apartment or whatever, they would kind of, you know, signal to the people above them, hey, look, you might want to chill out for a bit so you don't get in trouble. They're like, nope, no more. We're not going to say anything. We're not going to say anything at all. And they were telling me that when they say that the traffic was constant to this apartment, it was pretty constant, to the point where, you know, it was pretty quick. Word would get around town pretty quick that this was a place where you could get stuff. You know, webkins. Those top secret webkins that everybody wants, those ultra rare ones. This was the #1 apartment you could get them at. If you think I'm actually talking about webkins, then keep believing that. But if you know what I'm talking about, then good. We're on the same page. Anyways, one of the people in the apartment notices a car kind of staking out, watching people coming and going from this apartment at a pretty consistent flow, you know? And it's a little weird that the car is out there for a long time. Usually cars will come and go in, you know, 20 minutes, but this one stayed, and just nobody got out, nobody moved from the car, nobody moved in the car. It just kind of sat there for a while, and then it left. So the people in the apartment kind of know what's up, but they're not going to tell their neighbors because the neighbor has the bad issue. You know, if your neighbor threatens you, look, man, I ain't your lookout no more. Sorry, that truce is over. You got to figure this stuff out on your own. I am no longer liable. It's like the second you turn 18 and responsibilities become real, you know? Like, you accidentally break something expensive in a store before you're 18, your mom is disgusted. You accidentally break something expensive in a store after you're 18, your mom laughs and says, have fun paying for it, not my job anymore, you know? It's just that lifestyle. Sometimes you gotta live it. It can be a little dangerous for you people out there, you know. Regardless, they don't say anything at all, so the house keeps running as normal, and cars are coming and going and watching it for about a week. And then a friend of mine who is a YouTuber, you know, the one I'm telling you about, that lives here, wakes up one morning and his head it sits by the window near the stairwell, and he looks, and instead of seeing, a normal person coming and going from the apartment, or like maybe one of his friends going, somewhere, like going upstairs for some reason, whatever it was, what he sees is a man in an entire SWAT uniform, AR-15 and all, walking up the stairs of the apartment. So my friend kind of makes a noise, and the guy looks back and kind of looks at him and just like gives him like a signal, and he says, okay. So my friend decides it's probably best to step away from the window, you probably don't want to be near the window if the SWAT team's about to go in on a house that may or may not, hold some substances that would lead to a violent response from its inhabitants. I just sounded like a Harvard graduate for a minute. That's impressive of me, all right? I want some street cred. So regardless, not too long after that, they hear a bunch of loud bangs and booms as the door gets kicked in on the apartment above them, and that guy that was just on the stairs is now rushing into their upstairs neighbor's house, all right? So obviously, they kind of got raided, which I guess happens if you live that lifestyle. I wouldn't know because I grew up a very sheltered boy. I've never seen such hardships in my life, I just don't get it, but I guess apparently, you just get used to it, so they're getting arrested, and the cops come them down, and they're, like, talking to the people underneath, and they're like, oh, did you know that they were doing any of this? And, surprisingly, the level of petty that somebody else in the house, not my friend, went to, is they had written down every time people had come and gone ever since they got into the first fight when the guy was like, not my problem, stay out of my face, or like, we're going to have issues. They had reached that level of petty, and that's the level of petty I hope to achieve at some point in my life with something. Like, just the ability to keep a detailed log of something that I shouldn't care about just to screw over people that have wronged me. Like, that's some next level petty, all right? That's some evil petty. That's James Bond villain level petty that I think we need more of in this world, I'm just saying, if people were more petty, maybe Martha Stewart would have never committed insider trading. It's just something to think about. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about. I asked my friend to politely describe the way that a SWAT team sounds breaking into the apartment above you, and he described it as, which, I think is a pretty good representation of what it would be like. Moral of the story is, if you're gonna do illegal things, kids, when people come to you with a pretty simple request, considering they help you and don't snitch on any of the things that you're doing wrong, maybe, just maybe, it's better to be nice. And apparently be careful of who you cross, because some people out there are petty enough to give the police a freaking bar graph of your activities on everything you've been doing, which is pretty incredible, man. Microsoft Excel has always been confusing to me, dude. The only squares I'm good with is Minecraft, but that dude was really out there solving crimes like Scooby-Doo with some graphing. That's the real message that Scooby-Doo was about, okay? It wasn't about friendship and how you can use it to help your community. No. Scooby-Doo was just learning how to use calculations to figure out that your neighbor's probably doing something illegal. I guess I feel like it's just easier to be nice, even if you're doing stuff that is illegal. Like, just be nice to people, bro. You'll probably spend less time in jail, and the people in jail will be nicer. Not that, like, most people in jail aren't nice. I'm just gonna stop talking now. So back when I was a freshman in college, I was making videos on the internet, still like I do now, but I was a lot smaller. I think I had maybe like 300 subscribers, and one day I decided that I'm gonna make fun of this music video, okay? And part of the video, when I'm making fun of this music video, I leave a comment on it basically being like, my goodness, I've never seen so much swag executed by a human before. It is almost impeccable the amount of dopamine that can be released by a music video. Just some stupid comment, and I record myself putting the comment on his video, and I put it in my video, and I upload it, and I don't think anything of it, alright? Like, I go to class, I do my thing, I go to class all day, and I come back, and I realize that my video has like 10 more comments than usual, and I look, and it's the person who made the music video commenting, basically being like, you have 2 days to take this down, or I'll figure out where you live. Like, you think it's funny that you're gonna question me, but it's not. I'll find a way to punish you. Like, how dare you make fun of my music video? Getting real pressed about the fact that I made fun of this music video. And okay, I've learned my lesson since then, alright? I won't make fun of anyone's music video, anyone's video, unless they either have more subscribers than me, or like, it's not super mean. I went a little far, I'm not gonna lie. I kind of made fun of some stuff that I shouldn't have, but you know, you gotta learn from experience. Regardless, I guess I had missed their deadline that they needed me to delete this video on, because I was in class. Because what happened in the next series of comments is they somehow figured out my real name, where I went to school, the dorm I was living in, the dorm I was staying in. Like, they basically doxed me, okay? And I've been a YouTuber for a while, and trust me, every now and then somebody's gonna get your information. Like, it's just reality, you know. My name's now on my famous birthdays profile. This is crazy. But at the time, I only had 300 subs, so this is mind-blowing to me. And so I'm kind of responding to the comments, and I'm like, well, they've already gotten my information, so whatever, I'm gonna troll them. So I start messing with them, being like, wow, are you really this offended over a video? Just commenting a bunch of dumb stuff. And they basically say that I'm breaking the law by making fun of their music video. Like, I'm breaking the law, and I'm so disrespectful, and they're gonna get me expelled for this, blah, 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 blah. And I commented something back along the lines of, please no, sir, please. Like, just some cringe. I was just messing with them. Like, I was just trying to make them a little upset, because I'm not gonna lie, they were already so mad, and they had already done the damage that I was like, oh well, I'll just troll them. Now, obviously, there's creepy people on the internet. This person somehow had gotten, like, my name and stuff and was threatening me, but in reality, like, I didn't really think that I did anything wrong, you know? I just made fun of a music video. Like, let's say, hypothetically, he calls the police. What are you gonna say to them? Yes, are you the sergeant of the police department where this kid lives? Listen, he made a video, and he said, and I quote, I sound like Alvin and the Chipmunks. I'm gonna need him in prison stat. So, I don't think anything of it. A couple days pass, and there's nothing that comes of it. So I just figured that it was some crazy person that probably realized they were a little too angry at this YouTube video for their own good, you know? Like, here's just some life advice. You get to control what you get mad at, alright? You really do. I know a lot of people don't believe that, but if you're gonna let a video that somebody made making fun of your music video get under your skin so much that you're gonna be obsessed with it for days and willing to, like, dox somebody just to figure out, you know, who they were, how dare they make fun of your music video, you're probably a crazy person who's a little mentally unhinged and you need some help. So, anyways, as I said, a couple days and it's quiet, but then I check my email one morning and it's an email from the dean of my college, and it basically says that they have had a report that I am cyberbullying children on the internet while saying that, like, it's school sponsored. Like, I was insinuating that my school sponsored the fact that, you know, I was making fun of stuff online, which I never did. I'm like, ah, sick, that's dope. So they're asking me to come in and talk to the dean about it, and I'm like, yeah, sure, no problem, because I think once I can explain the situation and how crazy this person is, I'm gonna be okay. So they're like, all right, come in tomorrow at noon. So, whatever, I'm worried about tomorrow at noon. So I'm on my way to class at 9 a.m. the next day, just kind of walking to class, and I get a call, and I don't recognize it, but it has the area code for our school, like where the school offices have numbers. And I figured it was the dean's office probably calling me and asking me if I was still coming in today to talk about the issue or whatever. So I pick it up, and basically what happens is, hello, this is Sergeant Blank with your school's police department. I have a report here that you have been, you know, misusing school technology to harass individuals on the internet, and I'm gonna need to talk to you pronto. So if you could come to the police department on college campus so we could talk about it, that would be great. The sooner the better, you know. And I'm like, oh my god, are you kidding me? Did they really call the cops and say that I'm using school equipment to, you know, harass people? Like, all this horrible stuff, you know. They're accusing me of, like, oh, you've been using your platform to continuously degrade this poor person. They're saying that they're being harassed endlessly by your fans. And bruh, I was a nobody at the time. I didn't have fans, okay? There is no way that this person was getting harassed by any of my fans because they didn't exist at the time. So whatever, I go to the police department and I walk in and I'm treated like a criminal, bro. They make me sit in this, like, interrogation room. They come in and start questioning me. And for 2 hours, I'm answering questions about this. They're like, did you use school computers to make this video? I'm like, no, I didn't use school computers, you know. They're trying to figure all this out. And finally, after about an hour, like I said, they're talking to me for 2 hours, but after an hour, they kind of realized that I am not the crazy person here. But of course, when this person called in, they made it seem like I'm some, like, you know, criminal enterprise king kingpin just cyberbullying people all the time. So I'm explaining to the cops, no, it's not like that. Like, explain how it's a public video that was on the internet. The original video I made fun of had more views than my video ever did, too. So, like, if you're gonna upload your videos publicly and they're gonna get, 10,000 views on their own and I make fun of it and get 300 views, like, it's not like I'm really harassing you. It was public anyway. So, whatever. After about an hour, they're kind of realizing that this person is a little bit unstable. If you have the energy to figure out where I go to school, figure out my real name, like dox me, call the police and make up stuff so I'm gonna get in trouble, it's insane. So I get questioned for 2 hours, and finally, the cops are like, look, we're gonna have to launch an investigation because the reason I was in trouble is when they had called the school, they had said basically that I had used school equipment to do it, and that I was using school equipment to, cause issues. So the police are like, look, if you're not using school computers, then you're good. And it wasn't the school computer, it was my computer in my, apartment, so I was fine on the cop front, but they still had to launch an investigation. So for 3 days, I couldn't use my computer. I had to give my hard drive to the police to, search, which, I mean, I don't have weird stuff on my hard drive, but, the last thing I want the police doing is looking at my browser history, okay? There's some genre choices on a certain website I don't want to have to explain. Not because it's illegal, not because it's illegal at all, but, it be like that sometimes. But the dean's office is where it gets worse. Because I'm in there for so long, by the time I get out of the police office, I go to the deans, and the deans basically sit me down and say that I'm facing expulsion because I'm misrepresenting the school, and I guess, in my student agreement, it says that if I make the school look bad publicly, they have the right to get rid of me. And this person that's been emailing the deans and the school police is saying that, they're gonna press charges, and they know people in the news industry, so basically, they're gonna blow this up and cause a problem. This person is allegedly gonna ruin my life because I made fun of their music video, right? So the school is obviously well, we don't want to cause any problems for the school, we don't need the school getting news in a bad light, and I'm like, look, it's really not that deep. I made fun of a music video. I promise you with all of my being, it is not that serious. But the dean's office didn't want to hear it, bro, and they're basically until the investigation is completed, by the school police, you're on probation and you're basically on the verge of getting expelled. So if I had any academic trouble, if I got in any more trouble, then I was done, and I'm not gonna lie, this is about the time that I realized that I really needed to make YouTube work so I could get out of here. And yeah, for a week I basically had to know that every administrator at my college was being informed on everything they found on my computer, which is pretty embarrassing, I mean, yeah, but I didn't get arrested, and I ended up dropping out on my own accord, so they didn't have to expel me. Nothing would have ever come of it, but the real irony in all of this, ladies and gentlemen, is that the person that decided to try to ruin my life, basically got me kicked out of college, almost arrested for, harassment on the internet. Thankfully, I was able to explain that that's not what that was. Their main point in all of this is that they were going to make sure that I never got anywhere with my YouTube career, and, I'm not trying to say that I catch dubs out here, but I do have 2 gold play buttons now, and that person, that their most popular video is the music video that I made fun of. So, I'm not saying that karma comes around, but if you contact someone's school and try to get them expelled and arrested for something that really isn't like that, then karma will come around, and now you have to look up me and realize that I'm a full-time YouTuber and you still angrily leave comments on all my videos. Anyways, guys, moral of the story is apparently your college will try to expel you if you make fun of anything on the internet, so be very careful what you're putting out there, and be careful of baiting crazy people, because if someone's crazy enough to drop your full name on a video, they're probably crazy enough to contact your school and try to get you expelled, so... Anyways, for those of you guys who haven't been watching for a while, I live on my own now, and my house is in this neighborhood, obviously, I don't know why I feel like I need to explain that. My house is in a neighborhood, nah, I own all of Nevada, it's just my house here. Anyways, my house is in a neighborhood, and I don't know how the rumor got out or whatever, but kids in the neighborhood know that I'm scrubby and I live at this house, They are zoned at the same school as my brother, so I don't know if my brother told him, or if they just figured it out, they saw me outside, I don't know, but some kids figured out that I'm scrubby. So the neighborhood kids kids know that I'm scrubby, and they'll knock on the door every now and then and make a dumb joke, take a picture, whatever. Like, I don't hang out with the neighborhood kids, but they know that I'm scrubby, they know I'm a YouTuber, and they know that I live here. And most of the parents in the neighborhood know that I live here and that I'm a YouTuber too. I've had pretty cool conversations. Most of the parents are pretty chill, they're like, oh, that's really cool, that's so awesome that you're so successful so young. Like, generally, it's not awkward, nothing's too weird about it. Most of the kids and I are pretty chill. I don't see them often, but when I do, it's like, hey, what's up, how you doing? Nothing too crazy. There's this one kid in my neighborhood who I'm gonna name Kevin, and Kevin's got it a little bit rough, alright? And Kevin's probably the nerdy kid in the neighborhood who most people don't hang out with, and the only reason I know that is literally every other kid is always outside hanging out, riding bikes, having a good old time, playing Fortnite together, I don't know, probably, but Kevin is always inside, not hanging out with anyone, studying, doing homework, whatever nerdy kids do these days, and the main reason for that, this poor kid is the son of a Karen. Yeah, that's right, guys. This mom has the let me talk to your manager haircut and the attitude to boot. Like, his mom is actually psychotically Karen.
Wow, yes. No, no, no! Yes.
Download and solve the puzzles now.
A more Karen person in my entire life. Like, if Let Me Speak to the Manager was a person, it would be this kid's mom. And this poor kid has to deal with his mom constantly embarrassing him, constantly yelling at people, constantly making no one want to be friends with him. And I'm sure the kid's not a bad kid, I've only interacted with him once or twice. But growing up with a Karen as a mom has to be arguably one of the roughest childhoods you could ever experience. Like, growing up on the street and homeless is probably better than having to live with a Karen. And just to give you guys an idea of how Karen this guy's mom is, when I first got my house, I parked my car, and they're literally across the street from me, so I've had some interactions with Karen, and she comes outside and asks me if I live here, and I'm like, well, yeah, I just bought the house. And she proceeds to say, no, you didn't, and calls the cops. Yeah, that's right, the cops had to come and verify that I own the house, and it's my house. So, way to go, Karen. Wow, you're so incredible. Called the cops on a kid in front of his own house because he didn't believe it was his. But that's the type of Karen we're dealing with here. That's actually a whole nother story. If this video gets 10k likes within the first day of it being up, I will tell the story of Karen calling the cops on me because it's a saga. But, that Karen is just next level Karenhood. And I guess my brother was talking to Kevin one day at lunch or something, and he mentioned that he's a huge fan of my videos. And my brother kind of told him, well, he lives right by you. And Kevin's like, yeah, I know, I've seen him outside a couple times. My mom called the cops on him. And my brother's like, well, I'm sure he doesn't have any beef with you. He's a pretty chill dude. So, like, you could go knock on his door, like, get a picture with him or whatever. It's no big deal, right? So after school that day, Kevin knocks on my door and he's like, hey, can I take a picture? I'm a big fan. I'm like, yeah, sure, no problem. We take a picture. I'm talking to him for maybe like 2 minutes. I was asking how his day was. It was just a normal conversation, and his mom pulls up and is like, is there a problem here? And I'm like, oh, no, no. And she's like, Kevin, what are you doing here? And I knew his mom was a Karen, so I didn't snitch, and I wasn't like, hey, I'm a YouTuber, your son watches my videos, because that's not what I wanted. But Kevin goes, oh, he's a YouTuber that I watch all the time, and I don't know, I just really like his videos, so I figured I could come take a picture, because I don't know, I just kind of look up to his channel. And she gives me the dirtiest look, and she's like, don't you think it's weird that this kid knocked on your door because he likes your videos? And I was like, well, yeah, kind of a little bit. Maybe he shouldn't knock on my door. It's not like, what do you want me to do? No, kid, go away. You support my channel and make my dreams reality. Suck it. And slam the door in his face. Like, I'm sorry, Karen. I wasn't going to punch your son in the throat for being a fan of mine. But whatever. The mom kind of like bickers back and forth with me about how I shouldn't answer the door. I don't really know what she was telling me. I shouldn't take pictures with the kids who are my fans. I don't know. Something along the lines of, it's inappropriate for me to take pictures with kids that are my fans, but I don't know. I don't think that's weird. Maybe I'm in the wrong, alright? Maybe I'm in the wrong, whatever. But she kind of like pulls Kevin back to the house, and I'm like, alright, well, Kevin is never going to see me again. again. Whatever. Karen's gonna keep being a stupid Karen, you little dumpster diving little baby whore. But whatever. I'm not too pressed. If Karen doesn't like me, Karen doesn't like me. I don't really care. I'm gonna keep doing me. But anyways, a couple of days later, I get a knock on my door, like a furious pounding of knocks on my door. Like an angry knock. Like, I think I might be getting swatted when I'm going to the door. I'm like, great, here we go. The SWAT team's gonna surround me. It's not gonna be a good time. And I open the door, and standing there is a very, very angry looking Karen. And she basically barges into my house, like pushes by me, and just starts yelling. And I'm like, okay, first of all, come on in. You know, the water's fine. Welcome to my humble abode, Karen. It's the same house as yours. Can I help you? So she's screaming, and the first thing out of my mouth are, hello, what is going on? She's like, you need to delete your channel this instant. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And she says, I watched some of your vile videos, and I can't believe you tell those stories on the internet. I will get it taken down. You need to take down your channel right this instant. It is not a good role model for Kevin. And I'm like, well, I'm sorry you feel that way. I'm not deleting my channel. It's my job. That's how I make money. And she's like, you need to take it down. It is a bad influence for children. I cannot believe that vile filth is allowed online. And listen, you know, I've said some weird stories on the internet. I don't feel like I've ever said a story time that's vile and disgusting to warrant this type of response. Like, I'm sorry. I feel like my story times are pretty tame. You know, go watch Chanamanju and then come watch me. And I'm like, hey kids, welcome to PBS. You know, I don't feel like I'm that extreme, but whatever. Karen is up in my face yelling at me about how I'm a bad influence and I need to delete my channel. So I explain it again. I'm still calm at this point. I'm like, hey, it's my job. I don't really care what you think. People enjoy it. You're the first parent I've ever had screaming at me to delete my channel because I'm a bad influence. If your kid is doing what I do, then just tell him to stop. You know, you can make him not watch my videos. It's not my fault that you think your kid shouldn't watch them. And she's like, no, you need to take it down. I will call the police. And I'm like, what are the police going to do? The police aren't going to make me delete my channel. And she's like, because I think she realized that the police aren't going to make me delete my YouTube channel. Like, how would that 911 call go? Hey, this is Karen. There's a kid with a YouTube channel that I don't like. I need every video taken down immediately. 911, we need to nuke his channel from the internet. He is a bad influence for children. Yeah, that's right. No joke. One time he said a naughty word and Susan demonetized him. Yep. Oh my gosh. Yeah, send the SWAT team. Let's arrest him immediately. I cannot believe that this kid is a YouTuber. Can you believe it, officer? Absolutely disgusting. Despicable. So she proceeds to tell me, and I quote, I cannot believe such filth is allowed on YouTube. She said it like 90 times at this point, and I will be contacting my lawyer to get your channel taken down. And I'm like, all right, Karen, fine. You know what? Contact your lawyer, sue me. Something tells me anyone with a legal degree is going to be like, you're a moron. You can't get someone sued and get their channel deleted because you don't like their videos. But whatever, Karen's the type of girl to ban D&D because she feel like it's gonna make her kid turn into a devil or whatever. So at this point, she's like, where's your computer? I'll delete it myself. And I'm losing it at this point. This lady's screaming at me saying she's gonna delete my channel. So I say, Karen, get the out. But I didn't blurp it out, alright? I told her to get out. She's like, how dare you swear at a woman? I'll be back. I will call YouTube. I'll call YouTube. And I was like, you know what? If you get a person at YouTube, please let me know because there's a lot of things I need to tell them too. All right, Karen, you stupid whore, dude. Just get out of my house. So whatever. Karen leaves, and I think that's going to be the end of it. But sure enough, the next day, there's another knock on my door, and Karen and her husband are standing there. And the husband's like, hey, can you please delete your channel? It's really making my wife upset. So Karen is obviously standing there like she pulled the trump card. Yes, you know, your husband's gonna magically make me delete my job. You got me. And I kind of tell him, no, you know, it's my livelihood. I explained to him how YouTube works. I explained to him how he can prevent his son from watching my videos. I explained this all to him, and he's like, okay, thank you, I'm sorry. And the husband's being a pretty chill dude. I don't know how him and Karen are married because he's like, yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, we can just prevent him from watching your videos. No, I'm sorry. Like, yeah, this should have been avoided, blah, 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 blah. And as he's slowly kind of jumping onto my side about where I'm like, dude, I'm not going to delete my channel, just make your kid not watch my videos. Karen realizes that she's not winning this and starts freaking out, demanding that I show her husband my vile filth. So I'm like, okay, fine. So I pull up a scrubby video, the main channel videos, and I show him one, and I'm like, yeah, I just kind of make fun of stuff. And he's like, oh, I don't think that's that bad of an influence. And the look on his wife's face when he says he doesn't think it's that bad of an influence is insane. So whatever, she grabs him and yanks him out of the house, and she's like, how dare you? We will get your channel taken down. Yeah, Karen, you're doing a fantastic job trying to get my channel deleted. I am currently shaking in my boots while enjoying Susan demonetizing every video I upload. So the real kicker of this all, I'm sure you're asking, how does Karen somehow get stupider? The next day, there's another knock on my door, and I look out the peephole, and I see Karen running back to her house full speed. So I open the door, and there's a letter there, and I open it, and she had written a fake letter as Susan Wojcicki, the CEO of YouTube, demanding that I delete my channel for disrupting the peace of the neighborhood. Yeah, that's right, Karen. I'm sure you, in the suburbs of Las Vegas, have enough clout to get the CEO of YouTube herself to write me a letter to take down my channel. I don't understand if she thinks I'm a 3-year-old or somebody who can't read, but regardless, Karen, you did a very bad job convincing me to delete my channel. So obviously, I know this letter's a fake. So I just kind of open it, read it on my porch. Oh my gosh, Susan Wojcicki wants me to delete my channel? Oh no! And then I flip off the house and I just go inside and close the door because I'm not playing games anymore. All right, Karen, you can like mess around and play neighborhood police officer all you want. I don't really care. It's whatever. But at the end of the day, the second you start writing fake CEO letters, you just look like a psychotic monkey. But ladies and gentlemen, it somehow gets worse. Yes, that's right. Karen, realizing that her fake letter to me did not get my channel deleted, I was not suddenly moved to tears while simply crying at the fact that I have become a YouTube pariah, and Karen herself wants my channel deleted. No, I didn't care. In fact, I just kind of thought it was funny that this lady was so obsessed with my YouTube channel. So, whatever, she takes to shaming me to get me to delete my channel. She figures that if all the neighborhood turns against me and none of them want their children watching my videos, then somehow I will miraculously have to delete my channel. Yeah, that's right, guys. If everyone in the neighborhood, all 400 people don't like my videos, suddenly my 1.3 million subscriber channel and my second channel with over 100,000 subs immediately ball into ash. There is nothing that will ever exist again because the neighborhood no longer likes my content. So she makes a Facebook post basically insinuating that I am corrupting the children and that I need to be banned from the neighborhood. Like, yeah, they're gonna make me sell my house because I make YouTube videos. And the comments on Facebook backfire immediately. Like, the other parents in the neighborhood are like, can you leave the poor kid alone? I've watched his videos, they're harmless. Like, please find something to do with your life. It backfires entirely. Everybody else in the neighborhood knows me as like the nice guy who, like, I don't know, I just kind of keep to myself. I don't cause any problems. I don't throw wild parties. My videos are pretty tame as far as everything goes. Like, let's be honest here. The truth of the matter is my videos are really tame compared to a lot of YouTubers. And Karen, I know you're watching this. I hope you understand that I didn't leak your name for a reason. I could have dropped your full name because you're kind of harassing me and I wouldn't have felt bad about it. But I kept it a secret because I don't want your nice husband and your nice kid to suffer for you being a pathetic wench. But whatever, I digress. So here I am on Facebook reading these comments of everybody being like, leave the kid alone. Holy cow, this is like borderline harassment. We don't want to kick him out of the neighborhood. He's a fine neighbor. You know, like, it's not the end of the world. Please just chillax. And Karen starts dropping paragraph responses to each and every one of these people, basically trying to argue with them that the internet should be banned for all kids under the age of 13 because it's corrupting them. Karen is looking like a full-blown psychopath at this point, and everybody just kind of stops replying to the thread. And I've had neighbors come up to me since and be like, I am so sorry about her. The rest of the neighborhood does not feel that way. Like, all of us think your job is cool. You keep to yourself. You're a nice kid. Don't let this crazy woman make you think that the rest of the neighborhood hates you. I promise it's fine. And it's gotten to the point where there was like a neighborhood pool party last week and I got invited and they just invited the husband and the kid and told Karen that she couldn't come. Like, that's how unpopular Karen has made herself with the neighborhood over the fact that a YouTuber just happens to live a couple houses down. So Karen, way to go. 500 IQ play. You made your neighbors hate you.
So for those of you guys who don't know, I actually got my own house 4 or 5 months ago at this point. I don't really know how long I've been here exactly. I'm sure if I really thought and tried to remember I could. But I've been in my new house for 4 or 5 months now, meaning I'm still relatively new to the neighborhood. And, I guess the house that I bought was on sale for a while. In fact, it was. I got a good deal on it. But regardless, I guess I'm new to the neighborhood. People didn't know me. It's kind of weird that a 20-year-old kid has his own house. I'm not going to lie. I'm sure it looked a little bit fishy that I was pulling up to this house every day that had been empty for so long. But like I said, I got the house. I went around right when I moved in and introduced myself to all my neighbors. And a lot of them were really, really cool. I get along with 90% of my neighbors really, really well. Most of them are pretty chill. All the neighborhood kids know I'm a YouTuber. Like, for the most part, I have a pretty good time with my neighbors. Not all of them are massive jerks that I want to punch in the nose, except for Karen. But there's this one neighbor named Karen, and she lives across the street from me. And she, for some reason, just did not like me. Like, when I went over to introduce myself, she thought I was lying and trying to get information from them. Like, when I knocked on her door, she answered it and said, "Sorry, we don't want to buy anything," and slammed it in my face. So I knocked again, and she answered more irritatedly and was like, "We don't want to buy anything." And I was like, "Hey, I'm not trying to sell you anything. I just moved in across the street and I wanted to say hi." So her first impression was slamming the door in my face because I was trying to sell her something. So, we definitely did not start off on the right foot. I don't know why. And ever since, she would just kind of stare at me whenever I went anywhere, and she would always give me dirty looks. So regardless, one day I'm coming home from the grocery store or something. I don't really know where I was, but I pull into my driveway and I'm getting out of my car. And as I'm getting out of my car, I just hear over my shoulder, hey, wait up, wait a minute. But it's frantic, almost like someone's in trouble or someone needs help with something. So I'm kind of looking around, not knowing where I'm looking, and then I see Karen coming out of her front door and walking over to me with this Karen liberal mom sass, I'm gonna talk to the manager sass in her step. And she gets up to me and she goes, "I don't think you're my neighbor. I don't think you own this house. I think you're squatting, and we're gonna get to the bottom of this right now." And I'm like, "Well, it's my house. I don't really know what you want me to do, but I'm sorry, but I do in fact live here." She didn't believe that I lived here. I don't know what your problem is. I don't know if you have nothing else better to do than sit outside and stare out your window to make sure that people live here, but I promise you that I live in this house. And she's like, "No, you don't. I don't know how you got into this house, but I promise you that you won't be here for long. We don't appreciate squatters in this neighborhood. How dare you break into somebody's home?" And I'm like, "Lady, I live here. I know you might not like it. The house is mine. I am not doing anything illegal. There's literally nothing going on here that's illegal." So then this weirdo wackadoodle Karen of a neighbor says this, "Well, I don't know how you afforded a house because you never leave your house. I've been watching you and seeing what you do every day." Excuse me, that's supposed to make me trust you and be like, "You're right. You are totally correct that I'm breaking the rules." Let's say I did break into this house. You really think a soccer mom up in my face saying that she's been watching me is going to make me afraid? Wow, Karen, what are you going to do? Call the cops? So I'm like, first of all, it is very weird that you're watching me. What do you mean you're watching me? Do you don't understand how creepy that is? She's like, "Well, I'm a stay-at-home mom, and I keep an eye on this neighborhood to keep it safe, and I can't believe that you would squat. How did you afford a house if you don't have a job?" And so I'm like, "Well, I work on the internet." I didn't tell her I had a YouTube channel because obviously she's up in my face screaming at me. The last thing I want to do is talk to this girl more. I'm like, "I work from home. It's none of your business what I do. I live here." And I try to walk away and go into my house, and this Karen grabs my arm and says, "No, you're not going anywhere. It's not your house. I can't believe you would disrespect this neighborhood." All right, sorry. I didn't know your neighborhood was your country, all right? I didn't know I was breaking the rules by walking into my house. My bad, Karen. I'm so sorry that you felt disrespected in your neighborhood. Maybe, if you weren't so much a wackadoodle, your husband wouldn't be cheating on you with the secretary, all right, Karen? So I go to walk away again, and she goes, "That's it. I'm calling the police." And I'm like, "All right, Karen. Yeah. Chris, is that a weed? Call 911. Whatever. Call the police. Fine. You psychotic monkey." So she calls the cops, and the cops, she's explaining it on the phone, okay? And I'm listening to her explain it, and she's like, "Hello, I have a kid breaking into a house. He's squatting. He's being disrespectful." Okay, being disrespectful isn't against the law, number one. Two, I tried to be nice, and then you grabbed my arm and accused me of being a drug dealer or something because I don't go to work. I don't know what to tell you. So whatever, the cops obviously are in a rush because they have some frantic lady screaming that someone's breaking into a house. It doesn't sound like what it is. So the cops pull up, and I'm just kind of sitting on the curb, and she's like, look, do you see him over there?" And I can see her pointing. She goes up to talk to the cops first, and she's talking to them and pointing at me and snickering, and I can't believe it. I can hear bits and pieces, and she's like, "And he doesn't have a job. You need to check his house for drugs." And the cops are kind of like, okay. So finally, the cop walks over to me, and he's like, "Hey, man, can you tell me what's going on?" So I explained to him the situation. Very calmly, I'm like, hey, I just moved in here. I can show you all the paperwork. It's still right on my desk. I've literally been here for like 3 weeks. I work online. That's why I don't leave the house very often. I don't know what she's on about. You guys are more than welcome to walk through my house and verify that I don't have any drugs. Like, I promise. You guys can look. Like, I don't know what her deal is, dude. I live here. I legally own the house. I don't know what she's on about. And the cop's like, okay, well, can you see the paperwork? I'm like, yeah, do you want to come with me or do you want me to bring it out? And he's like, okay, can I come with you? I'm like, yeah, no problem, sure. So I take him in the house, I show him the paperwork, he's like, okay. You're kind of young to own a house, and I was like, yeah, I explained to him what I do. I mentioned to him I'm a YouTuber, he's like, oh, okay, got you, my kids love YouTube, I understand, that's really cool. Give me, like, me and my partner a couple minutes to round this up, right? So I'm kind of sitting back on the curb again, just kind of sitting, doing nothing, and she starts walking up to me and yelling that I'm gonna get arrested and there's no way I'm getting away with this, blah, 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 blah. And the cops come up to her, they're like, lady, leave the kid alone, we're handling it, the police are here, let us handle the accusations and arresting if anything's gonna happen, alright? It's not your job, Karen, go back over there. And she's like, fine. And she like gives me this look like I'm in trouble or something. And whatever, a couple minutes later, the cops walk back up to me and they're like, hey, you know, you're good to go, everything checks out, you're fine, A1. I don't know what this crazy lady problem is. He didn't say crazy lady. He basically insinuated, if you have any more problems with your neighbor, just let us know. We're gonna put this as a low priority, meaning that if she called the cops on me again, then like the likelihood of them coming was very low. The cops were not gonna be waiting to come spring a SWAT team on little boy Scrub, okay? So whatever, they leave and she is pissed that I'm not getting arrested. She's like, how dare you, yada yada yada. And the cop is like, okay, lady, he bought the house, it's his. I don't know what you want me to do. I don't know, maybe contact the former owner. It's the kid's house, I can't kick him out of the house. And she's like, it's fake paperwork, the paperwork is fake, but the cop's like, look, it's legit. I don't know what you want me to do. He didn't do anything wrong. He's not being loud. He's not being rambunctious. In fact, he's been quite a bit nicer than you to us tonight. So maybe you should go back in and think about what you did and ask yourself why you called the cop on a kid who did nothing wrong. So the cops leave and the lady is just absolutely flabbergasted that I am not sitting behind bars for something that I didn't do. Like in her head, I think she wanted the cops to find something I did wrong. Like be like, oh, your brake light's out. You're going to spend the next 87 years in prison. But I didn't do anything wrong. And like, listen, whenever I'm at fault, you guys know on this channel, I'll admit I messed up, I did something stupid, I definitely didn't do something the right way. I'm the first person to admit when I've done something wrong, I've done something wrong. I didn't do anything to this lady. From the first day she met me, she just hated me because I guess in her little world, if anyone is like doing anything in her neighborhood, it's disrespectful and trying to ruin her life or whatever. But Karen is just a psychopath, and her poor kid, I feel so bad for the kid. So she has a kid named Kevin, who I guess watches my videos, and as you guys know yesterday, he kind of got in some trouble for watching my videos. But like, imagine growing up with this as your mom. Imagine looking outside your window, the cops are here, and she is yelling at your neighbor, who you know has done nothing wrong and been nothing but nice to you, for something that like isn't even that big of a deal, and having to sit there and just be like, oh my god, that's my mom. That's my mother. And come to find out after this and talking to other neighbors,